Alright, so 3 of our 5 areas, territory-wise, have now ultimately been conquered, and I think before we get on with our next series of events, I want to buy myself a new car, just to keep it interesting. You would be expecting me to keep using the Camaro up until the end, but to be honest, I don't really want to do that, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to head to free roam, and what we will do is get ourselves a new car, or basically the cheapest one available to us. So we're out in the open, and we can basically just jump straight to the car lot by doing this. And this is how we can ultimately buy a new ride, or sell one depending on your preference. So these are the cars we currently have available to us. We got the Mazda RX-8, along with another Chevy Camaro if we really wanted one. There's also the Mazda 3 MPS, along with the SRT8 version of the Chrysler 300C. Probably don't need that, to be honest, since I've already got a muscle car. We've also got the Alfa Romeo Brera, along with the Mercedes CLK 500 among our exotic class, and the Ford Mustang GT, which I believe is the first Tier 2 muscle car we've now obtained. And I think just because the Mazda RX-8 is the cheapest of these, this by the way is how we can look at our cars. We can either zoom in or zoom out using the L1 and R1 buttons, and we can also rotate the camera. So what we're going to do now is we are going to buy this car, because it is the cheapest, and also because I now know that we can actually buy most of our upgrades from the garage already. Which, to be honest, is kind of what I want to do. So we've now got our new ride, and we're just going to go back now to the safe house. I chose the RX-8 because it is the cheapest of all the cars I can buy. And you will notice that the garage theme has changed, because we're now technically in our first tuner car, which means that we technically get the tuner car theme playing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the upgrades that we recently unlocked. I think I'm just going to go more towards understeer, because I think one of the first events we'll be doing with this thing will be a drift event. And I think for this we're going to go with duration all the way for the nitrous. We could go with velocity, but that doesn't last as long. So that's why I'm picking duration, because if the nitrous lasts longer, then we can just continue boosting, basically. And as for the tyres, keep those as they are. And the brakes, we'll lean more towards front bias, because that's kind of what you have to do with drift events. And for the turbo, we'll go more towards high RPM, because, well, this thing is rotary powered, and like all rotary powered cars, they do have pretty high RPMs. And how much money is that already in the shopping cart? Okay, 10,000, so I think I can put in one more upgrade whilst I'm here. We might as well go with the transmission. Sure, we'll lean more towards top speed. And have I missed anything? I don't think I have. Don't think we're going to get the engine package, because that's a bit expensive. But as for everything else, we're just going to buy what's available to us, and we'll just put it in. And I think the other thing I might as well do whilst I'm here, because I also unlocked the metallic paint, we're going to change the paint on this thing, because we now have metallic paint available to us, and also because, well, I kind of want to make this thing pink, just to kind of diversify my options here. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. So we'll paint this thing pink, and we'll also put a vinyl on it, because those are available to us as well. So we got some flame vinyls. Probably not going to showcase all of them, because that might take us all day. Are there any other vinyls we have available? Oh, the national flags. And they just appear on the roof. Okay, whatever. But we can fit numbers to these things, so... I don't think we can fit multiple numbers to this thing for the moment, so I won't do that. And we also get shapes. They're okay, but they're a bit basic. We'll go back to the flame vinyls just because they're the only real ones we have available to us. Yeah, we'll put on flame 1. And I think color-wise, I think we should be okay, so we'll just keep it as it is. Suppose we could probably move it slightly, so I'll move it upwards just a little bit. Oh. Can I actually scale this thing? Make it slightly bigger. You know what, I'm just going to keep it as it is. We'll just accept the fucking vinyl and then we'll just move on. I think I've already wasted enough of your time as it is. So, we'll just do that. I know it's a little basic, but to be honest, I just want to get on with racing this thing now, so that's what we're going to do. So, we've got a drift race, a speed trap race, and also a checkpoint race. All of these being controlled by Angie's crew, which is 21st Street. So let's begin with the mountaintop on Knife's Edge. And I think just because I should probably activate Sal on my crew listing now. I figure he might be able to give us more money. So Sal is now our active crew member, and because he's also a scout, it means he'll pretty much be there to help us all the time. So let's now get on with the drift event, where we will also get a tutorial.
Drifting is all about cornering. The faster you go, the more points you get. And you gotta try to connect your drifts from one corner to the next without fishtailing. Closer you stay to the walls without touching, the better you'll do. But be careful, because if you hit the side, you're done.
A very self-explanatory and somewhat short-lived cutscene about how to drift. Although because we're up in the mountains and there's hardly any visibility available to us, the key to nailing a drift event in this game is basically to pretty much do it with the right amount of speed off the launch. If you can do that, then basically you should more or less have this nailed. And although my drift failed, I still got 19,000 points nonetheless. Yeah, did I mention it's possible to lose if you drive off the canyon? That's basically what those things are there to warn you of. I was going good in my first run, but to be honest, I really wasn't happy with how the rest of the run was going because I thought I could do better, and sure enough, for the moment it does feel like I'm doing better. Even though I am already on last points, but you know what? I did feel more satisfaction with the way in which the run started, so as long as I don't keep hitting the walls, I think I might have a good chance of winning here. Because I have definitely got a car that's made for drifting here. Just need to make sure that I get more speed. If I can continue to score points, then hopefully I can manage to correct myself from the mistakes that I made before. And driving this thing feels much faster than the Camaro, because when I was using the Camaro before, I was struggling like hell to try and get the drift nailed, but with these tuners right now, I would say the tuner cars are pretty much the ideal choice. And sure enough, I had to end with a crash right at the end. But whatever. We got the Drift Novice reward card, and we've also unlocked the Pro package for the suspension. And here's how we finished. I win by virtually 20,000 points over Anamori, with Stickler third, and Snowman finished in fourth with 21,000. My biggest drift in the end was worth 13,000 points, with my longest being just over 850 feet and an average score of pretty much 3.6k, and an average length in the end of 441 in feet. And this is how everyone else finished. And now, let's move on to our second event of Part 4 here in Campton. And it looks as though Bushido has now acquired another territory. Bushido, by the way, is Kenji's crew, and the TFK crew, by the way, that is Wolf's crew, for cross-reference. So anyway, that's our first event done, and what we are going to do now is move on to our checkpoint race. I could drive over to it, but because we can just jump straight to the event, there's not really a point in wasting time there. And I do manage to nail it on the launch. I reckon we should be able to gain some time here with our Mazda. I can definitely say there is power steering in this car, unlike the Camaro where you've basically got to pretty much wrangle the car most of the time, but this one feels different because, well, you can pretty much just do this, which I think is pretty helpful. Again, pretty much every car type has their advantages and disadvantages, but at least I can say with the RX-8 I did make a good choice by giving myself a car with better equipped handling, which does help me out here. Just a little bit. And just clipping the fence there, but no real issues. It did take me 1 or 2 attempts to get used to the drift event, but then once I really started to get the car's handling under control, everything was just more or less a sail through, I think is the correct term to use. Like, it wasn't easy to begin with, but once I started to notice the differences in the handling characteristics, aside from both my cars being rear-wheel drive, I noticed that this one, because it had power steering and probably also had a few other bits and pieces that the Camaro didn't have, that was kind of how I beat this. Or pretty much how I beat the drift event, with almost no real issues. Except for my pride. But right now at least, we are going good. And because we're also handling good, it means we're not having to worry about a slip up when we go through here. And there we go. We've beaten the checkpoint race. And we've now unlocked Body Kit 1. And these are our checkpoints in the end, as we finished with 11 seconds to spare. And now, the only thing we've got left is the speed trap race. So we've now got the Pro Package transmission available to us. However, we still have one more race to do in this territory, so let's get on with the speed trap race, and where for the first time in this game we will have Sal as our teammate. And I just want to check and see that I have Sal among my crew members. I'm pretty sure I did activate him. Yes, I did. So, let's get on with our speed trap race. I will also say if there is one thing that this game did better than Most Wanted, it's basically include more variety in the challenge series. And we've got 2 Chrysler 300Cs, no doubt in saying they're from Andrew's crew. And let's see how we go to start with. 114. That's a good start for me, ahead of Sal. And then it is Hector in 3rd with Gatewood in 4th. Okay. So far, so good. And Sal is keeping up with me at the moment, as I would have expected. Oh, sorry Sal. You kind of checked up in front of me there for a little bit. And we've got feds, which means we're inevitably going to be spotted at some point. And we'll have to do another pursuit. Yes, we will.
Hang on, man. We got a powerful code 6. We're moving into pursuit.
5-0 basically means cops. If you're familiar with the show Hawaii 5-0, that's technically what 5-0 refers to. Or if you're pretty much familiar with any American cop shows or detective shows, then you'll know that 5-0 means pursuit. Or police pursuit is technically what it means. I did not realise I was in 3rd gear for a moment there. And Sal now takes over the lead temporarily ahead of me. The 2 Chryslers at the moment are behind us. However, I am leading this race outright. And at the moment, I would say we're doing good. And we won. And I've also now unlocked Escape Artist, along with the Pro package for the tyres. And also the nitrous. So this is how we finished. I won by 31 miles an hour in total speed over Sal. Hector finished in 3rd, who also crossed the 600 mark, with Gatewood finishing 4th in the 2nd Chrysler 300C. Best speed trap speed in the end of 114 and an average of 106. Then Sal had a best speed trap speed of Sal also had his best speed trap speed in the end of 116 and an average of 100. Hector had a top speed trap speed of 125. I know this is a bit of a tongue twister, but an average of 100. And Gatewood in the end had a best speed trap of 124, but an average of 91. So, it is what it is. Anyway. Let's now see how long it takes us to escape the feds. I reckon because we're in a different car now, there will no doubt be some differences. Okay, gotta shoot through here. And yep, got rid of the beams. I think those might have been pipes I just got rid of there. Oh, god damn it. Come on, get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. Yeah, the cabs are definitely not much of a factor in this game as they were in the previous game. So, suffice to say, that was pretty easy. And I disabled 2 cops in the end, along with getting over $13,000 in cost to state. Anyway.
Supervisor advises units to return to GDs.
So that is now the end of our 4th bit of territory here in Campton, as we've now just got 1 left. We've got a sprint, a speed trap, and a drift race. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to head back to the safe house, and we might as well save the game. I'll admit I did dilly-dally a little bit with the performance tuning and also with the final selection, but really doesn't matter because, well, we did manage to win all 3 races pretty easily. So, saving the game now, and let's look at our latest progress on the reward cards, as we did manage to get, I think, another 2 rewards if I remember. So, just saving the game. And this is where we're now up to. If I can just find it. Let's see. I know there's one here. Which one did we get again? There was definitely 1 reward we got. I'm trying to remember what that was. Oh, win a drift event. Okay. So that was what we got on the reward card schemes. Cool. And that will do it for episode 4 of my Need for Speed Carbon Let's Play. If you enjoyed, you know the drill. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and maybe leave your thoughts down below if you feel inclined enough to do so. And we'll see you again next time for more Need for Speed Carbon Racing.